Dominica, a small island nation in the Eastern Caribbean, is embarking on a journey of monumental change, underpinned by the Citizenship by Investment Program. Dominica CBI Program was established in 1993, making it one of the longest running of its kind. In the 1990s, Dominica faced significant economic challenges, including a decline in the banana industry, which was a major contributor to the country's GDP. The government sought to diversify the economy and attract foreign investment to stimulate growth. In 1993, Dominica introduced the Citizenship by Investment Program, allowing foreign nationals to acquire citizenship in exchange for making a significant investment in the country. In 2002, the program was revamped to include a more streamlined application process and increased investment requirements. In 2012, Dominica introduced the real estate option, allowing applicants to invest in approved real estate projects. Dominica's CBI program continued to gain popularity due to its competitive pricing, efficient processing, and generous benefits. The government has continually updated the program to include new investment options, improved due diligence, and enhanced benefits for citizens. Today, Dominica's CBI program is considered one of the most reputable and popular programs globally, offering a unique opportunity for individuals to acquire citizenship and contribute to the country's economic growth. Our spotlight is on Dominica's CBI program and the groundbreaking infrastructural projects that are reshaping Dominica's future.
The Caribbean island nation of Dominica is known to many nomad capitalist viewers as one of 5 sovereign countries in the Caribbean that offers citizenship by investment. Make a donation or an approved real estate investment, get a passport in a matter of months. So, Dominica citizenship, visa-free access to about 140 some countries, including the European Union, including Russia, including a lot of the Americas and Southeast Asia. It's not a bad passport. But what I like about Dominica, what I've always respected about them is, they've been offering their CBI program for almost 3 decades now. And as they get so much revenue from that, actually more than half of the country's revenue comes from CBI. From some of the statistics I've seen, they're always looking for more innovative ways to bring people to the country. I went through the St. Lucia program myself, where citizenship by investment generates a pretty small part of the country's revenue. It's a much smaller part of the economy. And so they haven't been looking at as many programs there. I think St. Lucia is a great country to be a citizen of, but Dominica has always been a bit more aggressive. There's certainly pros and cons to that, but I respect the fact that they're looking at a way to bring entrepreneurs to the country.
Dominica's Citizenship by Investment Program has been instrumental in transforming the island's infrastructure, and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit's vision has been pivotal in driving this growth. The CBI program has been a game changer for Dominica's economy, attracting foreign investment, creating jobs, and stimulating economic growth.
Really and truly, this Citizenship program started in Dominica in March of 1993. And the idea is that is to attract foreign direct investments. Under the program, someone can apply to become a citizen, and they would qualify if they invest in one of two things. It could be a direct investment into the government fund. It's called the Economic Diversification Fund, or Economic Development Fund, and then, or they could invest in a real estate. One who has to apply, you can't apply directly to the government. You must apply first through an agent. So the government has appointed a number of agents to serve between them. So basically, someone interested in becoming a citizen will first have to go to an agent. The agent must know the client, and then the client will provide all the documents to the agent, who will then come to the government and apply on your behalf. Once that's done, once the application is in, it goes through a number of stages, a process for due diligence, where it's vetted by regional security and intelligence. It's then vetted also by international due diligence firms that work for financial companies all around the world. Then that information will come back to the government, who will do an assessment of the reports that come in and see whether or not the person qualifies. Once that person is qualified, is approved in principle, then the person will be asked to pay the investment fund. So when you apply, first and foremost, the government would ask the applicant to pay a registration fee and due diligence fees. Those fees are not funds for the government, but those fees will be used to pay the companies who will go out and conduct due diligence for the government on each applicant. After the government approves the person in principle, that person will then the government will give directions to pay the money into an approved account. And once that money is done, is paid, the money is received, the person would then be given the certificate of naturalization and would make them a Dominican. The agent would get that. The agent would use that application, that certificate, to apply for a passport. The person would get the Dominican passport. And basically, that's how it's done. So I mentioned that there's the Economic Diversity Fund, the direct government fund, the direct investment in government. The other area would be what is called a real estate program or a real estate project, where the person could apply to buy shares in an approved real estate, and once they pay the funds to the real estate, they go through the same due diligence process, and if they approve, they will ask to pay the investment in the real estate. And once the real estate can show to the government that the funds have been received, then the person will be granted a certificate of naturalization as well, and then go on to get a passport in the country.
We'll explore how a small nation punches above its weight in infrastructure development. Let's dive right into the National Employment Program, housing, hotels, the Cabritz Marina, the cable car project, wellness centers, schools, small businesses, the East Coast Road transformation, infrastructure and renewable energy ventures. These developments are laying the foundation for a modern and sustainable future. Dominica has been on a journey of recovery and growth. In response to the challenges faced by its citizens, the government launched the National Employment Program, a comprehensive initiative aimed at providing employment opportunities and stimulating economic growth.
The NEP, I didn't had since I get to know about it. I was there and I wasn't doing anything, and then they came up with any program, and then I decided to go and get a job. And I went and I talked with the people, and then they helped me out, and then they gave me a little job, and then I took that job, and then from there I work, and then now I can see it helping me good. It's a good program. I find it's a good program because for me, for my part, it helped me a lot. It helped me because it when my bills, I have to pay my internet, my water, and it helps me. And I think it's a good program for the people of Dominica, and I think people of Dominica should appreciate it, because anytime it stops, I don't know where we will be. But for me, I think we should continue because it's a good benefit for me. It's helping me a lot during the month.
One of the critical areas of focus for the NEP is within the health sector. The program has enabled the employment of medical professionals and other healthcare workers, improving the quality of healthcare services across the island.
In terms of the CBI program, we have used funds from the CBI program to do our health center, Newtown Health Center, Newtown Health and Wellness Center, and that has impacted the people of the constituency tremendously in the area of healthcare. I mean, when I pass in through Newtown and I see the number of people utilizing the Newtown Health Center for all sorts of things that probably supposed to be done at a hospital. They do ECG tests, they do the blood tests. The only thing probably they don't do is x-rays. There's also a pharmacy where people can get their medication. And so that health center is utilized every single day. And so people get proper health care. We have wonderful nurses. We have doctors there every single day. And the beauty about this, because healthcare is something that is expensive. It's extremely expensive, and they are getting this service free of charge as a result of the CBI program. So the Newtown Health Center, that, as I said in an earlier interview, that health center was supposed to have been constructed in Alico. And when I came in as parent, I said to them, I always know Newtown having its health center in Newtown. And Newtown people won't be pleased that the health center is built outside of the community. And so we searched for lands. Mr. Daniel Lagwame, soul rest in peace, is the one who sold that property to us, because we have an issue where land is a challenge. So we had to purchase private lands to construct the health center. And I was wondering, where are we going to get the funds from, local funds, to build the health center? And so, thank God, the CBI funds was used to construct the Newtown Health Center. And today I can boast as the parrot that we have one of the best health centers on island, the most utilized health center, and one that has the most professional, loving, and caring doctors and nurses.
Okay, well, many people benefit from the health center. It's close to us. Before we had to go to the Roseau Health Center to access health care. But since it is here, much more people are coming here. And me personally, I am there very often because I like doctor. Once I feel something, I come to visit my doctor and I get impeccable service from the nurses that the doctors here. Well, the service, I find right now the doctors are more readily available, and we don't have to go down. We do not have to, well, those of us that are just in the environment, we don't have to go very far, and it's a much more comfortable setting than before. Well, for me, I no longer have to come to Newtown and then go down to Roseau. Right now, when I see the doctor, I can just go upstairs and get my medication once it's available. Well, I find the government is making good use of the CBI, and I'm a very vocal person. So if I wasn't satisfied, I would say so. Not because it's me afraid. I mean, everybody that's going to see me on the thing going to know, they know where I stand. But it's not because I am a supporter of the government. I'm saying that I can see the benefits for everybody. Right? We didn't have a health center in Newtown. We were in the church building over there, and that was not a very comfortable setting. Then they had to take us out and put us Roseau. That was another drama by itself. Right now we have comfortable settings. They also have been putting housing for people that are in need, and I think that's a very good initiative. Plus they're still helping people under the NEP. I don't know what else we can ask for. Imagine us not having a CBI program after Maria passed. Where would we have been? I think we would be done. And then I would have had to listen to my daughter and move, and I don't want to live Dominica. So I'm satisfied with what is going on with the CBI.
The NEP has also had a significant impact on the public sector. The program has enabled the employment of public servants in office administration through the employment of clerks, data entry personnel, and other administrative staff. The program has improved the efficiency and effectiveness of office operations, supporting the growth of businesses and organizations across the island.
One of the things that has benefited us most in the cargo space is the ensuring of the employment opportunities for people of cargo descent. And stretching from Wakama all the way to Pigwa, that is the borders of the cargo space, Castlebrus all the way to Marigot, the borders. We see that the NEP, the National Employment Program, which I'm happy to lead as the minister, has become a pillar institution within our space. And it is very clear to us that this program has assisted a number of households. Within the Kanago territory, we have over 200 folks employed within that program. A number of those folks are ensuring the beautification and the management of our environment. There are a number of folks who are also engaged in the private sector and in the government service. So every month we see families benefiting from just a simple employment opportunity within their own space.
The NEP has also invested in community development, providing employment opportunities for individuals working on projects related to the cleanup and beautification program, community outreach, and youth development.
Catherine Laron. I am the supervisor of the Lewis and Whitaker National Employment Program. I became a part of a program when the program first initiated in 2014. And I was the first set of people to enter the program. It's been maybe 11 years now, and the program has done a lot for me, and I don't never want it to end. Well, it's a job. Well, it's the whenever a job, you have to put on the table, feed my children, send my child to university in the States, and it's a very good program, and it have done a lot for me and my family especially. Well, I've heard a lot of stories, not in Davis and Whitaker alone, in different areas in Dominica, where it changed their lives, where they never risk up working in their lives, never. And because of the NEP program, they got a job, and the job has done a lot for them, a lot for them. For the children, there's some people who were single parents, and their child father wasn't taking care of them. And the end, they had a job. Some of them were bringing their child on the job with them. I show you how important the job is. They bring their child in stroller, and they said it is a very good program. And they don't never want it to end. Well, the CBI program is very important for Dominica because it's not the government. Not every time the government gets money in different areas to provide for the nation. It's because of the CBI. That's why the NEP program was initiated, and many other programs in Dominica. If it wasn't for the CBI, a lot of people would be out of jobs. I say without the CBI program, a lot of Dominicans would have gone to maybe other places in this nation, in the world. I tell you, a lot of Dominicans would have gone out of Dominica. So Dominica would not have been Dominica would have been underpopulated was it for the CBI program. I can tell you.
The reality is, my dear friends, we need $5 million every month to underwrite the operations of the NEP. Now, we all in Dominica understand and appreciate the positive economic and social impacts which the NEP has on several households across Dominica.
I started, when I started the NEP, the year they started, first inception of NEP, I started as a cook at the Davis Primary School, and then I went into beautification. And from beautification, there was a vacancy open to be a supervisor under the caregivers, for the caregivers. So I applied for the job, the opening. That is how I became supervisor. Well, to tell you the truth, at the end of the month, you get a salary. You got paid for what you are called to do, and I believe that with it we can pay our bills, we can do groceries, we can do whatever people do with money. So I believe that it's a form of income into my family, and we bless God for that.
That is entirely has always been financed by the CBI program because it is a capital project, it's a capital program, and it's financed by the CBI. Thank God we have been able so far to continue finance it. Even during the COVID time, we paid the NEP people, even if they were not working, most of them were not working. And they're components of the CBI program because people only see the NEP workers on the beautification program. But there are people who also, under the NEP, provide care to senior citizens, the sick and shortened, and people with disabilities. There are also NEP people who work in the private sector. There are several small businesses across Dominica who rely on the support from the CBI to underwrite portions of the expenditure. And that has been able to help them, carry them through to sustain the investments until they graduate out of the CBI program. And there are many who are engaged in the public sector, gaining skills, and many of them have graduated and moving to the establishment of the public service, even in the private sector, or government entities. Most of them have gotten permanent jobs at the aid bank, at the Social Security, and other entities because of their diligence, the work experience that they have gotten, and they're doing well. And the majority of the housing financing is come from the CBI. The hotels that we built that are now providing employment for people, that has now improved the number of marketable rooms that we have in Dominica, which now, this is part of the reason why there is a case to be made for United to fly into Dominica. This was the reason why there was a case for American to fly into Dominica. This is a case why Caribbean Airlines has been having a flight from United States via Port of Spain, Dominica, Port of Spain, United States, because there are rooms for people to come into. And this is why we're committed to doing more rooms, because there is an increased demand and we have to ensure that we have more rooms to create jobs, sustainable jobs for people. And of course, the other infrastructure work that we have done in Dominica. And all of these things have been financed by the CBI. The marina has been financed by the CBI. The international airport is being financed by the CBI. Those projects are going to have a sustained long-term positive impact on the lives of the country, of the citizens of the country, and of course, the economy of Dominica. Now, let us not kid ourselves, and the opposition will want to say, no, that's what they want to do. They, in our view, and the view of many independent arbiters, their intention is to stop the program. Because they believe that if the program gets stopped, there's no more source of revenue for the government, then that would maybe precipitate the government this party getting out of government. As simple as that. It is an attack on the way of life and the livelihoods of Dominicans. That the Yes We Care program, which is a program that is providing home care to senior citizens, many of whom who have helped build this country, or the foundations on which we're building this country, but who for one reason or the other did not meet sufficient Social Security or Provident Fund contributions, and find themselves in a situation they either live alone or unable to pay for someone to care for themselves. And the government has this program that we send people to clean their homes, to bathe them, to cook for them, to let them feel that that we do care in Dominica, that we do have a caring nature within our DNA in Dominica.
Oh, I can tell you. I tell you, the people are very appreciative of somebody, one way or the other, coming to give care to them. And at the end of it all, it is being funded by the CBI, and then to pay the caregivers and the patients as well, the clients, some of which have no one to care for them. So we have some who comes in Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays to give care to them. There are some who, especially those that are bedridden, the caregivers, they come every day. And of course, as you know, that their family is the number one, caregiver in the part of the people's lives. So it's like a support to the family. And it really changed them, and to come to see them bathed and they are clean, their hair are combed, their beds are made and they are fed, and even those that need medical attention, they receive medical attention, they receive their meds, and you just name it, And I believe, the elderly that have been cared for, and we just bless God for that, for the CBI and also the government for really putting that policy in place to really look after the elderly.
And this program has been financed entirely by the CBI program.
After Hurricane Maria's devastating impact on Dominica, Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett announced at the United Nations General Assembly the bold plan to become the first climate-resilient country in the world. To achieve this goal, the government leveraged funds from the Citizenship by Investment Program to rebuild homes for citizens free of charge. This initiative has led to the construction of thousands of disaster and climate resilient homes across the island. These efforts demonstrate Dominica's commitment to building back better and smarter with the focus on climate resilience and sustainability.
We run a very robust and very transparent CBI program. This program has helped the country in times of natural disasters and in terms of ordinary times. Since I became Prime Minister of the country, we took a deliberate decision that the CBI funds will not be used for recurrent expenditure, because we never wanted to rely on it as our source of recurrent expenditure. And we decided that those funds will be used for infrastructure, government investments, and also the paying down on expensive debt or national debt. And we've been remaining true to this. We only started using the CBI funds after the hurricane. Revenue dropped, no tax revenue coming in, you have to rebuild, and we started using some of those funds for recurrent expenditure. And also during COVID time, when everybody stayed home, both in the public and private sector, the government had to pay the salaries of all public officers, and the government also supported many private sector entities in paying the salaries of officers, of public, their workers, because we want to ensure that in difficult times, the dignity of the human being is assured and maintained, that people can take home a pay and pay their mortgages and to take care of their families. And we maintain this. And of course, during the hurricane, after the hurricane, we used the 90% of the funds that we used came from the CBI funds to provide roofs on people's homes, provide food that we purchase, to clean up the massive destruction and debris which existed. Monies be used for small business support, for agriculture, for hotel industry, for agro-processing and manufacturing, at 2% and 1% loans at the aid bank, and in many cases grants. Since the establishment of the small business unit, we've given in excess of $67 million by way of grants to small business owners across Dominica. And this money we use also to pay for students studying overseas. These monies that we use for building roads and bridges and hospitals and health centers, and of course the housing revolution, the complete relocation of Pidit Savan and Dubik, and of course in the Joe Burton area, and several housing interventions that we've had in Graffoy, in Laplin, in Dalis, in Portsmouth, in the Cottage constituency in Lago Portsmouth, and Cotton Hill, Georgetown, and you can name every single community in Dominica. Every single person has been touched by the program. And of course, we continue to work with both our regional and international partners in addressing whatever issues which may arise from time to time. The world is a evolving world. The challenges which you confronted 10 years ago, there are new challenges and emerging challenges that you have to confront. And we've been working in the international community in addressing those issues. We've been working very closely, for example, with the United States government through the Treasury Department, who came and provided us with the 6 points that we were able to implement and continue to work with them. Since the meeting in St. Kitts, we've had 2 meetings with the U.S. Treasury, one in Miami and one in Grenada this year, as a follow-up to see where we are and what we're doing and how we're doing it, and we continue to engage all our partners in this. We've also signed this MOA, which speaks to a number of issues where we can do things jointly. It's something that Dominica had been proposing for many years, and I'm happy that finally we were able to get the concurrence of the other governments to sign on to the MOA, to put in place a number of things that we can do jointly. And one of the important aspects of this MOA is the setting up or the establishment of an independent regulatory body that would regulate and oversee the operations of all of the CBI programs in the region. All of this is an effort to enhance transparency, enhance due diligence, and also allow for independent arbiters to come in our program and see what we're doing that is right, see what we're doing that may be not totally correct, and see how we can strengthen the systems to ensure that the robustness of our due diligence is important. We in Dominica on our own, we have done a number of things. And one of the major things which will come into effect in the first or next month, October, is the establishment of an independent due diligence unit, which will be under the aegis of the FIU, and so they'll be responsible for reviewing all of the files and advising on which applicants will be successful or not, based on the due diligence reports and also based on the report from the JRCC. All of the persons who will be working in that unit have been vetted by the RSS, Regional Security System, and the JRCC, so that we maintain the high standards that we have maintained over the years.
The CBI program has enabled the building of roads, hotels, and other critical infrastructure, improving connectivity and accessibility across the island, providing employment opportunities, stimulating economic growth, and improving the quality of life for citizens. As the program continues to evolve and grow, it is clear that its impact will be felt for generations to come. The construction of the world's longest cable car in Dominica is 60% complete, with the contractors aiming for completion by the end of the year. Project manager Randall Gledge said earlier this year that the work at the bottom station has been completed and workers are currently tackling the top station's foundation.
We're around 60% complete. Yeah. So our actual construction has been, we're in the third year of construction. So the material ropeway took a lot of time to construct, but now we're well underway of the actual cable car itself. So we're targeting the end of the year for completion.
We're very grateful to be here, and we're very pleased with the progress, the coordination on the site, the engineering that's been employed, taking all safety precautions in the construction, design, and of course in the construction. As would have been indicated to you, there are 290 people employed, doing various things. There's the knowledge transfer that's taking place. The carpet so is being operated by a local Dominican, taking materials back and forth to the top station and so on. So, and there is an intrinsic desire by many to see their employment transition into permanent employment that's beyond construction. And I think quite a number of people are positioning themselves for various positions that they're aware of, and various skill sets that be required. So they're very keen to learn. I think beyond the construction and of course during the operation of this is all geared towards attracting more visitors to Dominica, and those who come can have opportunities for other experiences, because the tourists want to have a varied offering of experiences, attractions. And what we're seeking to do is to use our natural beauty or natural sides and to see how we can take advantage of them, by the same way respecting the environment. And within the design and in the construction of this cable car system, due care has been taken into minimizing the impact on the environment. And it is evident for a massive project like this, you do not see scarring of the landscape. The Boiling Lake is a major attraction. There are many Dominicans who would like to go there, but who, for one reason or the other, cannot take on the trek. We have increasing number of tourists coming via the cruise ships who want to have different offerings. And one of the things that we have to be mindful of as a country, which is a negative for many countries, that we have to minimize how many people come to one site. And so we do not have an extraordinary impact on those locations. And this is why you've said that we have increased the number of attractions in Dominica, number of sites, so that we can spread the tourists when they come and not concentrate on 2 or 3 areas. And of course, this will add to this. So with the construction of the airport, the construction of the marina, the introduction of the geothermal energy, which will reduce the cost of energy for consumers of electricity in Dominica. With the coming on stream of the cruise village that will allow for docking of mega ships, there is a heightened interest. As a matter of fact, last year I led a delegation to Florida to meet with several of the cruise lines, all of the major cruise lines, and they're all very keen on this particular project and seeking to position themselves to start taking advantage of it. So we're just looking forward to the commissioning of the cable car. It is an extraordinary project, the longest cable car in the world to the second largest boiling lake in the world. I mean, there's a story to be told. And those of us who know the Dominican terrain, who know these areas very well, I mean, from Loda up to the boiling lake, there's so many interesting things that you can share with those who are on the car.
The update was shared during an official visit attended by Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, Housing Minister Melissa Scarrett, and Tourism Minister Denise Charles Pemberton. Spanning 6,600 meters, 6 miles, and featuring 2 stations and 20 support towers, the Dominica cable car will take visitors from the Rosa Valley to one of the island's most distinctive natural sites, the Boiling Lake, within 20 minutes. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett said the island would be the first to build a climate-resilient housing for vulnerable citizens. Despite the island being a small economy, it is investing heavily in projects that aim to boost its resilience against climate change, expand the economy, and improve the quality of life for its citizens. The government of Dominica has been making significant progress towards achieving its agenda of becoming the world's first climate-resilient nation. As part of its goal to provide safe, modern, and resilient homes, the government has announced a major update with the Scott's Head Housing Project and the Egliston Housing Project nearing completion. Honorable Melissa Scarrett, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, has been a strong advocate for housing development and community growth.
It is truly an honor to stand here as we celebrate another significant milestone in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, a collaborative effort to deliver 60 homes to deserving families through 2 transformative housing initiatives, 54 under the HRP and 6 under the EDF program. Ladies and gentlemen, what could be a more meaningful way to usher in this Christmas season than this act of compassion and progress? And you know, I hear many people who want to ask the government, why do we give free homes? But isn't housing a human right? I say to them. Isn't it our job as a government to ensure that people of this country have a right to sleep at night without fear? Homes are not a luxury, they are a necessity. A home is not just a structure, it is a foundation for stability, a source of security, and a cornerstone of dignity. For families who have endured years of uncertainty and hardship, the opportunity to own their land and house is a lifelong dream that signifies a permanent investment in these families' futures. And so the recipients of these homes being handed over today own their property. However, sadly, their homes were destroyed by Maria. So I ask this question in situations like this. What do you say to a single mother trying to make ends meet after a home was destroyed? Or to a retired farmer who cannot physically work anymore? At your age, do you send them as a government to the bank knowing that they're going to be turned down? Or simply that they're stretched too thin and simply need that extra helping hand to see them through? And ladies and gentlemen, this is what this government is all about: lifting people up and out of poverty.
I go to my pirate. I go to Miss Melissa Scarrett Popon. So I talk to her and I tell her my situation, and she come and watch. My parent tell me, well, he will make me get an apartment, and he make me get that deal. Well, it changed it good way. I feeling very good. Because right now, when rain falling, I doesn't even hear if I don't go outside there, open the glass. I doesn't even know if rain falling. And when I was living in Pong, I used to put one basin, one pail in the corner of the house. It was leaking plenty. I didn't have bathroom, I don't have toilet there, nothing, light, nothing. The house didn't have nothing in it. Every night I pray and I say, God, open a way for Melissa and the Prime Minister. But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I is there. Well, it benefit plenty, plenty. I can say that for what I see that PM do, benefit plenty. Well, Dominica will be nowhere if we did not that. So it benefiting us.
Ladies and gentlemen, this government will never stop fighting poverty. And one of the most effective ways to do that is providing housing. And this is why we remain steadfast to our commitment to build 5,000 resilient homes by 2030. And I can tell you that we are well on our way of accomplishing this feat while breaking the cycle of poverty. Because we believe in everyone, regardless of their circumstances. They deserve a chance to thrive, to belong, and to be successful. These programs are partnership initiatives where the government of Dominica has played a central and active role in securing and financing the resources that are transforming lives across our nation. Through the vision and the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, we negotiated with the World Bank and the European Union, securing both grants and loans that help reduce the financial burden on our most vulnerable families. So let me be clear, no international organization, no matter how big they are, would make this level of investment if they did not have absolute confidence in our ability to manage, oversee, and account for these funds. And so let us continue to focus on what truly matters. Rebuilding our communities, providing homes for our people, and creating a stronger, more resilient Dominica for future generations. To our beneficiaries here today, don't forget the most important thing. When you say thank you to the Almighty Father for gifting you a new home. Be grateful for what you have received. Whether you support this government or not, the fact is that God has used us and is using us as his vessel to bless you and your family. So whether it's World Bank, whether it's EDF, government, it's all a collaborative effort. And our partners could not do this without the government, and the government likewise could not do this without them. I must extend my heartfelt gratitude to the World Bank team and the HRP office for your hard work and your dedication in seeing this project through. Also for your efforts in addressing complex land issues. The Attorney General Chambers, legal aid, the social specialists. A significant intervention this year came from the Ministry of Finance. Thank you, Minister, as well, for the approval of the payment of land registration and the associated fees for 12 beneficiaries at a risk of ineligibility. It was a timely action, leaving no family behind. We wanted to make sure that they qualified under the HRP housing. In the Kalinago territory for the 11th EDFB Envelope State and Resilience Contract for rehabilitation following Hurricane Maria, this commitment to resilience shine even brighter. And to date, under this program, 36 homes have been handed over, with 6 more today and 2 under construction, bringing us to 96% of housing program target.
Mrs. Skerritt has been instrumental in implementing the Dominica Housing Recovery Project, which focuses on rebuilding and providing climate-resilient homes to families affected by natural disaster. The completion of the Scott's Head Housing Project will play a significant role in providing 21 families with access to safe, modern, and resilient homes.
The devastation that my people endured after Hurricane Maria, including the loss of 16 people. And many people were homeless. That I will say was one of the most darkest period in my life. Seeing so many people vulnerable and helpless. But thank God we had CBI. When you woke up the day after Hurricane Maria and you saw the debris on the road was completely blocked. Villages cut off from one another. And that was like a nightmare. And here it is where I was wondering, how are we going to rebuild our country with all that destruction? Thankfully, because our Prime Minister was saving money for the international airport and using the funds raised on the CBI wisely, we had money to clean up our country before anybody reached out to help us. And so CBI has been critical in helping Dominica rebuild itself after Hurricane Maria. And not only rebuild the country by cleaning up and repairing roads and bridges, but also helping us build resilient homes for our people. And I can tell you, in the Suffolk constituency alone, we built about 35 homes after Hurricane Maria. And the government, we're currently constructing about 16 homes in Point Michel and 22 homes in Scottshead under the Citizen by Investment Program, and the homes are being developed by MMCE.
The benefit that we find we have in that committee on the CBI is very good. First of all, the type of housing. When a hurricane comes, we have to go up to the mountains. We have to go to the mountains, in the holy mountain. So right now, CBI build some houses up there for us. And then people have little shacks, little thing, and they have to move out. Today, they haven't got that anymore. We're satisfied with what happened with us in the community. And if somebody is saying something, or is somebody that just grudging that vibes. Because proper housing, toilet, the most important toilet, all them things important for us in the community. The type of roads we get up in the mountains is very beneficial for us. People that will never had a house and will never have a house. Only when they could have a house, maybe if they play Lotto. And to have a house built at least $300,000. A 3-bedroom, and it's very good for them people. Then people in the ghetto there are some apartments up there for them. They'll no longer be in the ghetto squeezing up on them things there. They will be up there well safe.
So the future is bright for our country and for the people of our country, and that is why I want us to remain positive. What I will say to all Dominicans, this is a time for us to position ourselves to see what business I can start, what service I can provide. This is what we should be thinking of, how we position ourselves to capitalize on the investments that this government is making to further advance our own dreams and empower our children and live more comfortable lives.
The Eccleston Housing Complex will provide a shelter to 16 families with the aim of enhancing and elevating the quality of their lives.
The CBI program has been used to do so much development in Dominica. This particular project that we speak of and where we are was funded by the CBI. Now I know there are many who are bashing the CBI program, who are trying to stop the CBI program by going to the courts, by trying to plant things in the minds of Dominicans, the average Dominicans, to get them to protest against the CBI program. But we have seen, not only in Dominica, the region and the world have their own CBI program. And we should not try to destroy something that is benefiting the average, the common, and the most vulnerable people in our society. And this is a testament of one of the projects that is done under the CBI program.
The Dominica Labour Party is a party that is known for taking care of the most vulnerable among amongst us. And so the Prime Minister embarked on a housing revolution. And so there are various programs. You have housing programs that was taken via loan from the World Bank to assist people who are affected by Hurricane Maria. You also have another program where housing is concerned in terms of repairs to people's homes. And the other program is to construct apartments for people. This housing is funded by the CBI program. And I can tell you, I call these apartments Beverly Hills Eggleston apartments. It is really beautiful. We have constructed 16 3-bedroom apartments, and these apartments are for families. The view is amazing. They can get the view of the sea and also the mountain. It's in a very tranquil and peaceful environment. It will also cater for people who want to do the agriculture. The recipients, some of the recipients, well, we have not handed keys as yet, but there are few people that we must give keys to those apartments, especially from the Eggleston and Girardel area. Because, some people tend to forget that we were hit by a hurricane, and we still have people who are in need of homes. We still have people who are in shelters, whether it's by family or otherwise. And so they have said to me that, Parrot, as soon as we get our keys, we're going to beautify the area. We're going to plant our flowers, we're going to plant fruit trees, and that is the perfect environment for that. We have the best soil in Eggleston and Girardel, and we are known for the flower basket. Everything is done, everything is completed, the electricals, but what we're missing to do is the road, just to finish the aesthetics of the outside of the apartments. But these apartments are beautiful. 3-bedroom apartments with hot water, dining, living, laundry. I mean, what more can somebody ask for? And the people are not paying a cent. That is going to be gifted to the most vulnerable among us. And that is what Cecil, the CBI program, is doing for people. That is the type of impact. Cecil, if somebody gives you a house, a 3-bedroom home, I mean, that is a lot. And so we have the marina going to be constructed. We have a number of hotels around the island, not only in my constituency, but around the island, that has created so much employment for the people. For example, in Lale in my constituency, we have the Ocean Edge Hotel. They're going to need security officers. They're going to need mixologists. They're going to need housekeeping people. They're going to need grounds people to clean the place. They're going to need fish to feed their guests. They're going to need flowers to beautify the area. And so a whole host of jobs is going to be created as a result of the hotel. And thank God that hotel has been constructed through our CBI revenue. So in all, Cecil, it will be impactful. We just need to finish our marina. We need to finish our international airport. We need to construct our new cargo port. We need to construct a new cruise port, and all that will come from the CBI program, because Dominicans are not paying so much taxes. We're not going to generate the type of monies that we require for these infrastructural projects through taxation. We might have to take a loan, and as I said earlier, we have no mother, no father, but father. So countries now will not give you grant funding like that. So we have to find a creative way to bring in revenues to the country, and the CBI program will do just that.
The Cabritz Marina, which is under construction, is set to attract hundreds of yachts to the destination. The official groundbreaking ceremony for a new marina in Portsmouth was held on May 25, 2024. The vision for a marina has always been in the plans for the development of Portsmouth and the Cabritz. Portsmouth is considered to have the best geographical and natural amenities for a marina. The Dominica Geothermal Development Project is a transformative initiative aimed at harnessing the island's substantial geothermal resources to provide sustainable and cost-effective energy. Spearheaded by the Dominica Geothermal Development Company Limited, a government-established entity in December 2016, the project seeks to reduce the nation's reliance on imported fossil fuels, enhance energy security, and position Dominica as a leader in renewable energy within the Caribbean.
This is Conor Lennon for UN News. Now, the international community agrees that we all have to move away from fossil fuels. They're contributing to the climate crisis, they're contributing to pollution. However, it's not very easy. Many countries are still heavily dependent on some of the dirtiest fossil fuels, such as coal, let alone oil and gas. But here on the island of Dominica, a potential solution is afoot. They've been working on it for a long time, but it is possible that this developing island state could become 100% renewable when it comes to electricity generation.
The primary focus of the project is the construction of a 10-megawatt geothermal power plant in Loda, a village located in the Roseau Valley. This facility is designed to harness geothermal energy from the Earth's heat, providing a constant and renewable power source. The plant's capacity is projected to supply electricity to approximately 23,000 homes, significantly reducing the island's dependence on diesel-generated power. The development of the geothermal power plant has attracted substantial financial support from various international partners. In December 2024, the CDB approved a US $34.8 million loan to the Geothermal Power Company of Dominica for the construction of the 10-megawatt plant. This funding aims to strengthen Dominica's energy security, lower electricity production costs, and significantly reduce carbon emissions. In December 2023, the government of Dominica and the Dominica Electricity Services Limited, DOMLEC, signed an agreement with Ormat for the financing, construction, operation, and maintenance of the geothermal power plant in Loda. Ormat will operate the plant for 25 years before transferring ownership to the government. The geothermal project is poised to offer numerous advantages. By replacing diesel-based power generation, the plant is expected to cut carbon emissions significantly, contributing to global climate change mitigation efforts. The shift to geothermal energy is anticipated to lower electricity costs for consumers and businesses, stimulate economic growth, and enhance Dominica's energy independence. The DGDC Limited has actively engaged with local communities, particularly in the Roseau Valley, to ensure that residents are informed and involved in the project's development. Public consultations and meetings have been held to address concerns and provide updates on projects. Looking ahead, the successful implementation of the geothermal power plant in Loda could pave the way for future expansions, including the potential export of clean energy to neighboring islands such as Guadeloupe and Martinique. This aligns with Dominica's broader vision of becoming the world's first climate-resilient nation and a renewable energy leader in the Caribbean.
We are really on our way to constructing our 10-megawatt geothermal power plant. That currently, most of the equipment have been brought on site. We had a vessel in port over a week ago. The equipment have been brought on site. That includes the turbines. We're seeing the installation now of the cooling system, which is a huge radiator type system with cooling towers at the top. And that has been installed. So the construction of the metal frame took place a few weeks ago, and we've seen the installation of the heaviest part of the entire power plant. We've seen that being installed. We also seen the preparation for the placement of the turbines, and we're expecting to see installation continuing. And it seems that we are on target to meeting our completion date by December 2025. So we pretty much, I hate to say ahead of schedule, but so far we're doing well, and I'm very happy. Well, we also have on site with us now a team from the World Bank. We have been working with this team for the last almost 5 years to get this project where it is today. And we're very happy that they can join us here today. And they are very excited to see that this project is actually happening. We're working with Domlec to ensure that Domlec is ready to take the power. And then we are working with the Indian company constructing the transmission network. And that too is another project that we will have the opportunity to talk about very soon. So we are moving on pretty well, and I'm very, very, very happy and feel confident that we'll be able to get this done.
Dominica is also set to welcome a new international airport, which will increase the island's accessibility and attract more visitors from around the world. The government of Dominica has embarked on the country's biggest infrastructural project since its independence in 1978, the International Airport. This transformative initiative goes beyond trade and tourism. It promises new jobs, fresh ideas, and a boost to Dominica's economy. Importantly, the project is fully financed through the Citizenship by Investment Program, placing no debt burden on the citizens of Dominica.
My fellow Dominicans, it is with a deep sense of satisfaction, national pride, and a clear belief in a brighter, more promising future for Dominica that I stand before you today. June 9, 2021 will be remembered in our history as the day Dominica took that bold step towards realizing a remarkable transformation of our country for our citizens and for the generations to come after us. This is a moment to remember. It is a proud moment for this country. As a small island developing state seeking to make its mark among nations and for all of us as Dominicans. Dominica will have a modern international airport equipped with air bridges and fully outfitted to receive international passengers and cargo. The construction project will be executed in 5 phases, valued at just over $1 billion Eastern Caribbean dollars. It will be built to meet the new resilience construction standards in this country. We are not just building for today, but for the future and to survive natural disasters. The airport will provide permanent employment opportunities in a variety of areas for young people in particular. It will open up opportunities for a range of providers of goods and services, from caterers to fuel providers and from maintenance to spa services. This will add several hundred new jobs to the national economy. In addition to the direct jobs, the new airport will also create a significant number of indirect jobs in the transport and tourism services sector. This will include those for taxi drivers, farmers, and fisherfolk, and increased opportunities for many others. But this is only the beginning. Our international airport will provide a platform for further development. It will be Dominica's door to the world and the world's gateway to a dynamic Dominica. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the value of an international airport is not merely grounded in the direct and indirect jobs which it provides, but in its overall value to the society, economy, and the geographical region where it is located. This airport will therefore position Dominica as part of a wider CARICOM economy and contribute to the region's growth and development. It will open up links for regional international tourism and trade in order to maximize the full benefit of the airport's presence and value as a national asset. It is this government's intention to position Dominica as one of the passenger and cargo transit centers and hubs in the Caribbean region. We will improve opportunities for trade, business, and general commerce. International trade of necessity requires international access, which is not truly and fully possible without an international airport. And so those who are against the use of the CBI funds must tell the people of Dominica how would they finance the construction of the international airport. Appreciate that while this project is being financed by the CBI, there is a high risk personally to the developer, Dr. Hayden and MMC, because the contract was signed before they raised $1 from the CBI for this project. And the liability stays 100%. There's no sovereign guarantee for this project. And with the attempts of the opposition here in the Caribbean and Dominica, if something were to happen to this international airport, to this CBI, then it will be his liability and not ours. And so let us work together and recognize that these people, and in particular Dr. Hayden, has been a true partner in our development. And we must recognize this and not join some among us who believe that every single thing, whether it's the Chinese who are helping us, they want to criticize, whether it's the Venezuelans helping us, they want to criticize, when the Americans are helping us, they want to criticize. No, my friends, we are God's people and we must always give God thanks for people whom He sent to us to help us. We have to recognize this. And so I want to thank MC, and of course here represented by Mr. Carl Murad. And of course CR5, which is a top Chinese international company. And I can tell you the Chinese knowledge of engineering, this airport is going to be a structurally sound international airport. And so we thank CR5 for the commitment and dedication to excellence. We're here, and some are asking, well, you started this project, why is groundbreaking now and not at the start? But the reality is, my friends, I do not want anybody to think that we're kidding with them, because we have been working on this airport since Frank Barron as Chief Minister of Dominica. I wasn't even born when they started talking about international airport for Dominica. And I know that within us, every single government that has come to being in Dominica has promised the international airport. And that's never happened.
As you know, it's 50 years this year since the attempt to have an international airport. Back in 1970-71, Edward Oliver LeBlanc made an agreement with the Canadians to do a study, and they identified a site up near Pont Cassé. We know the area as Brantridge, and they did a 2-year study. But unfortunately, the approach was over Maho and then taking over Casa Bruce. But because of the study, the cloud cover and the rainfall was just too much. So throughout the 70s, under Patrick John, we had a few attempts here and there. Places like Grand Savannah were considered. In fact, Venezuelans came and surveyed it. And then, of course, we had a brief period when there was an attempt to do something at Point Round, cutting across the middle of the island by Dodan and all that. And then in the 1980s, Eugenia Charles got British government assistance for a group of engineers, Alexander Gibb, to come and do a study of all the airport sites all over Dominica, some 12 of them. And there's a report with all of the different sites, Cabrits, even La Plaine was drawn up and considered. And then, of course, we had the UWP period where they had recommended something behind Wesley, but then they got out of power. And as was pointed out this evening by the Minister for Housing, Reginald Austrie, that we are still paying off for the loan they took to do those studies and to buy the land for that airport behind Wesley. And it was at 14% loan, so it extended over many, many years, and we're still there with it. Then the Dominica Labour Party came in. Rosie Douglas was trying to talk about something at Cabritz. But then another study was done under the premiership of Roosevelt Skerritt. And this is the one that we're working with now. It adapted a bit the Freedom Party one and extended it towards Wesley. And so now here we have it. And 50 years later, we are actually putting our first foot forward. So it shows how long it has taken. And we were the last island in the Caribbean actually to have an airport at all of any kind, because it is 60 years ago this year that Melville Hall, now called Douglas Charles, was opened by LeBlanc in November of 1961. So we were always, because of our topography, I mean, you know, we have a very difficult terrain. And so this really caused a lot of the delay. And then you had the political issues, and you had the financial issues. So all of these things, you know, have really acted against us. But now this evening with the signing, and already you could say Earth has been moved in a way, because the building of the houses that is taking place at Joe Burton and by the old St. Andrew's School and in other areas around Wesley, and the land arrangements, all of those things are in process. So you could say that, you know, things are in process. But I'm sure that in a few months' time, there will be some groundbreaking ceremony, which maybe would be even larger than the one that we have had this evening. So it certainly is a step further than any other government has done.
And by taking more time, Lennox, you would agree that more and more dollars will be required.
Yes.
50 years ago, we would not have been speaking about $1 billion.
No.
A few years ago, just over 25 years, we were not talking 1 billion, we're talking almost $200 million.
And before that, we were talking about 18 million back in the early days of the 70s.
And we heard of governments talking about the BOLT system, build, operate, and transfer.
That's right.
And now we are seeing a good mixture where the government has gotten the CBI fundings as part of helping to build this international airport.
Attempting to build an airport without the pressure, the financial economic pressure being put on the people of Dominica, because of the fact that in many cases you have to take loans, and you have to negotiate for funds with governments, and ultimately you've got to pay back money. And so the attempt is to go forward with the money we have and the money that seems to be coming in. And then along the way, while this is going on, you make your negotiations for the further steps to take place. We used to export fresh flowers and stuff in the 70s as far as the Netherlands on small planes, linking up with aircraft in Antigua or Puerto Rico. But now the event is that we could then do them direct. He used the case of Kenya. So yeah, we could list everything, but they were listed by the various ministers today, the various opportunities that are available for shipping things by air, very much more quickly, efficiently from that airport.
No, Lennox, your last question to you, that in reference to February 7th of 1999, when a letter was sent to the United States President, President Reagan, in reference to the interference of building of an international airport by the then opposition, Mr. Edison James. We are seeing some 30 years later, almost the same has been revisiting us in Dominica. But we have seen in 1997 thereabout that the United Workers' Party wanted to build an international airport. What do you make of the issue of flip-flopping from an issue of wanting to build an international airport?
Well, I mean, I do remember with Eugenia Charles, she was really very taken aback in 1990 when this letter was written to the American embassy to be sent on to Washington, D.C. And they said there's an election upcoming. And because you see, Eugenia, Charles basically pointed out that one of the biggest expenses, initial expenses, is the excavation. And what she had been negotiating for was the CBs, the U.S. Engineering Corps, to come in and clear the earth. And then it was as a result of that move that Eugenia Charles was making that the then leader of the opposition, Edison James, wrote this letter saying that it would interfere with local affairs with an upcoming general election. And of course, you see, what happens is then back in the late 1990s, after the UWP got in 1995 and then went up to early January 2000, in the because I've got all the notes, I attended that big meeting at Londonderry that all of this was explained. There was this hope that they now would construct an airport. So it's almost been like any government who's tried to construct an airport, the opposition will try to come in and block it because they know that achieving an international airport is such a, not only an economic and social plus, but it is a political plus. And this is the reality of the politics of the day because of that. I mean, besides the fact of the international airport, one of the things that hasn't been mentioned very often is that the new design will free even a small plane, even a LIAC, Caribbean Airline plane or other, from having to go all up into Mont Diablotin and turn. That now you will have a more direct approach from either end. You can approach from the sea, from the southeast, from the southeast over Londonderry and then Londonderry Bay, and then from the other side over Calibishie and Woodford Hill. So it will be a great improvement, even if you are not an international jet, to be able to approach without those issues that for the last 60 years we've had to deal with Melville Hall, Douglas Charles. So you see, there's this other thing which people don't seem to be mentioning, but it's an improved approach, an improved layout for the ease of even general traffic that we have today.
And so Dominicans have treated this as a false alarm when governments talk about international airport. And I wanted us to see, because I know that human beings subscribe more to the doctrine of St. Thomas, seeing is believing. And so we're seeing God's work happening here, and we can say, it is happening, ladies and gentlemen. And so we wanted to break down, not at the start, but while we're going on. And it's happening. And the Lord has told me and promised me, He says, Scary, don't worry. It has started, and it shall be completed. And I can tell you that the Lord has never lied to me. He has never forsaken me. And He has always been by our side. And I believe Him that He has started the project and He will complete the project, international airport for us here in Dominica. And so when I became Prime Minister of this country, because sometimes people speak as if when Scary became Prime Minister, we had everything that we had now. And I believe that it is important for us to write down the history of Dominica so that current and future generations can understand and appreciate the kind of Dominica that we inherited and what we have done, notwithstanding the challenges that we have faced. When we came into government, ladies and gentlemen, we had no night landing in Dominica. Christmas time that gets dark fast, by 4:30, 5 o'clock, the country is closed to the rest of the world. And when we said that that the night landing was the short-term solution to air access in Dominica, because we always felt and knew that the international airport will be the long-term solution to our air access challenges. And I went to Venezuela, and I see all my friend, the ambassador of Venezuela here. And I spoke to Hugo Chavez, may his soul rest in peace, a friend of Dominica. And I said to him, President Chavez, I want some help to extend the runway in Dominica and to put night landing in Dominica. And Chavez sent the Army Corps of Engineers of Venezuela to help us here. And you remember, they said I was creating a military base in Dominica. And then when we brought in night landing, of course, we got funding from the European Union as well for the terminal building. And then they said that when we put in the lights, they said planes would never land in Dominica. But since then, planes landing at any time of day or night in Dominica. And then we decided in recent time to extend the runway further, because American is saying to us they need the extra comfort and they need to groove the runway so that they have less cancellation when it's raining. And we were speaking to other airlines who said to us, once you extend the runway and you put in the grooving, we will come to Dominica. And this is how we have gotten United Airlines to come to Dominica. And so I keep saying to people that when you criticize and you cry down our country, never for 1 minute believe that you're crying down Roosevelt's skirt. This is not about me. This is about the people of Dominica. This is about the future of Dominica. This is about the future of our children and opportunities for them, ladies and gentlemen. And so we had the extension and we have night landing. And in 2016, we started the process to seriously look about the international airport. And we did a study. I never told Dominicans we're doing any study. We engaged the best American firm to come in to do the feasibility study for us in Dominica. They looked at every part of Dominica and they told us the best place to put the airport. And you know what I said to them, the American company? I said, look, don't tell me what you think I want to hear. I want you to advise me professionally and objectively on the best site for the international airport in Dominica. I never got involved in the process. And they came back and they said, Prime Minister, based on all our studies, all our investigations, this is the best place for the international airport for Dominica. And from 2016, we started saving. We created a fund, an International Airport Development Fund. And we were saving. And this is why I keep telling you, Dominicans, why saving is so important. As small as it is. We started saving $5 million every month, putting into the fund. And at the time of Hurricane Maria, we had $260 million in the fund for the international airport. And so had it not been for Hurricane Maria, we would have had all the money in cash to build the international airport here in Dominica. But Maria came, took our roofs, washed our farms, destroyed our hotels, destroyed our businesses, destroyed our way of life, and robbed us of our livelihoods. And I had to make a decision as Prime Minister. Do I keep the money in the bank account, or do I spend the money to help Dominicans restore their lives and livelihoods? And I decided to use the money to put back roofs on their heads, to build homes, to build schools, to build health centers, and to ensure that we could rebound as fast as we did as a result of Hurricane Maria. And so we used the money, but we persevered. And so immediately after we saw the light of day of Maria, we went back to the drawing board to start this airport. And we did studies. We did designs. And I never wanted to come to Wesley, Palm Tree, and Woodfordville to speak to landowners, because I understand how difficult it is to tell someone who has been occupying a house for 70 years to leave. And I knew that in the 1990s, when the Workers' Party government, they uprooted people from their homes and lands and had no plans to build an airport. And so I wanted to ensure that we were definitely going to build the airport before I came to Wesley, Woodfordale, and Palm Tree. And you know, I came to Wesley like Nicodemus at night. And the first home I went to was Teacher Gloria, my friend. I say, if I cannot get Gloria to sell me a house, then I can get nobody else in Wesley to sell me houses. Because Teacher Gloria had just fixed the house. She had just fixed the house. There are people who are building their homes. There's an Englishman who came back in his 80s and he built a big house in Wesley. How do I tell an 88-year-old man to leave your house? And so only when I knew for sure that we're going to start, we came in and acquired lands. And I can tell you, I won't tell you what we did for the people, but I always wanted to ensure that those who were affected by the acquisitions were better off after than before. And every one of them is better off now than they were before. And if you go to Joe Burton and you see this kind of big homes and nice homes that these people have built for themselves, it's amazing. And go further, there were some people who were not entitled to any compensation from the government. And we went into the humanitarian consideration and we built homes for dozens of people. We took them from their shacks to 2- and 3-bedroom Brazilian homes at no charge to them. At no charge to them, to ensure that everyone was covered here in Wesley, Woodfordale, and Palm Tree. And so we thank you, the wonderful people of Wesley, Woodfordale, and Palm Tree. We thank you. And so this has been our journey. And here we are today. Now this is an extraordinary site. An extraordinary site. The cut and fill has to take place. There's nowhere else in the Caribbean you have to do this, except of course with my comrade friend St. Vincent, and our site is even more difficult than his. But this airport, my friends, has to be seen as a national project. We have to wrap the national flag around this project. We can't always be disagreeing. Fine, they say, okay, we want international airport. Where the airport's carried, where the airport. Then the airport is coming. The same people are saying we don't need an international airport. Remember, my friends, that it is not Roosevelt scared who giveth. It is the Lord who giveth. And so it's important for us to stand in defense and in promotion of these projects that will transform the lives of our people. You saw the children from Woodford and Wesley here beating the drums and singing for us. We're not building airports for us, we're building for them, to ensure that they're going to have a better tomorrow than we had, that there are more opportunities for them, that there are more opportunities for our children. That's why we're good doing these things. And the Lord is blessing us with it. Understand this. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are happy that we're at this stage and must continue to build. And so we are engaging in a number of transformational projects. Geothermal project, ladies and gentlemen, that will help transform the energy security of Dominica. Ensuring that we have cheaper energy, not only for domestic consumption, but for commercial use. Ensuring that the cost of doing business in Dominica is lower because the cost of energy will be lower. And so this airport is a major, I see my friends are here from St. Lucia and from Grenada. They will tell you that had it not been for their international airport, their tourism product would not be where it is today. Because the reality is, you need people to come in to consume the goods and services that we produce. And so there are huge opportunities for this. Huge opportunities. And so we put our faith, as the song says, that the church song, we put our faith in Jaja because he's the one who's providing for us. Because this project is fully and absolutely financed by the CBI. There, at the end of this project, there'll be no debt associated with it. We will owe no one, ladies and gentlemen. We have not borrowed $1 thus far for this project. It has been financed exclusively and entirely by the CBI. And you know, I was speaking to a European member ambassador, and he's saying to me, Prime Minister, the opposition people in the Caribbean who are attacking the CBI program say they do not want to destroy it. But he says to me, Prime Minister, that is exactly what they are doing by their actions. And let us understand this. If the CBI is affected based on the actions of the opposition elements within our Caribbean, because it's happening in other Caribbean countries, understand this. It is not only Roosevelt Skerritt who will be affected. I've tried never to make this thing about me. I am here to serve the people. I came to serve Dominicans. That's my preoccupation. And so let us understand this, that if these people are successful in stopping the CBI, this international airport project would be in jeopardy. Because there is no bank in the world. There is no bank in the world that will provide you with financing to build an international airport. That's St. Vincent. St. Vincent did not get even what $1 from the CDB. Not $1 from the CDB or the World Bank to build this airport. And so understand what is at stake here in Dominica. Understand this. We can't always see things from our political lenses. We have to see things from our national perspective. There are things that are important in Dominica, and there are things that are good and beneficial to the people of Dominica, and there are things that we should never seek to embroil into partisanship. It's a new culture that's developing in the Caribbean that we want to denigrate and destroy opportunities for people. No. The Lord put us on earth to make life better for people, to help people, to be our brother's keeper. That's what it is. And so, we are happy to be here. We are happy to be here. And we say, great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord, for his many blessings. And so we're here, happy to be here to break ground. There's so many benefits that this project will bring to Dominica. And mark my word, when this airport is completed, we're not only talking about flights from Europe, I'm talking about flights from China. I see the Chinese ambassador here. That's what's going to happen. We're going to ensure that we are going to be connected to the world. You know, there are over 700 properties in Dominica now that are registered officially with Airbnb. Plus those that are not registered. And so the opportunities, let us not wait. Let us not wait for others to come and take advantage of the opportunities while we fight among ourselves and between ourselves. Because there are many non-nationals who are coming and scouting and asking for land to be sold to them because they see the opportunity. They see the opportunities that this airport will bring. Because our challenge is not about people wanting to come to Dominica. Our challenge has always been people being able to access Dominica. And once we address this impediment, the sky is indeed the limit.
Montreal Management Consultants Development Limited is the primary contractor for the airport's construction. Another important partner is China Railway No. 5 Engineering Group Company Limited, or CR5, which is tasked with designing, constructing, and commissioning the airport facilities. The International Airport Development Company, led by CEO Samuel Johnson, oversees the overall project management and ensures adherence to legal and technical specifications.
As Mr. Luan just went over for you, that as everyone is familiar with Dominica, although this part of the island is relatively flat, but it's still very rugged. And when you go on the site, you'll see that there are quite a bit of hills and valleys, as indicated. So a lot of the work that has been going on since inception has been to build the platform. And then on top of the platform, you put the runway, then you put the buildings. So far, we have encountered challenges with the weather, as you can imagine. And as Mr. Lu indicated, if things stay on track as we're doing, and there are no major weather events, we should be on track to have this completed and delivered in 2027. Yeah. But as soon as I throw out the data, I always follow up with a word of caution: man plans and God laughs. So we need to pray that there aren't any major weather events, so that we stay on course. One of the things you will see when you go on the site is that to be able to build a platform, there are several valleys that have to be filled, and the valley of water. Right, so we've identified about 4 or 5 key waterways, and what we've spent a lot of time on is building the conduits to ensure that the water can flow freely. There aren't any major rivers except at the runway 15 area where you have heavy flow water, and that is going to be handled separately. But for most of the other waterways, there are light streams, and we ensure that those continue to flow unobstructed. And once that is completed, then you will see that there is backfilling on top of it. And we need to ensure that there is sufficient compaction. Everyone who's visited the west area, it almost looks like you're in Mars. It's the red planet because of clay. And based on the analysis and the testing that has been done, they've identified the optimal chemical treatment or mix to ensure that we can remove the moisture, or as much moisture as possible, from the material that's being used for packaging, to ensure that we meet the compaction level that is required for the subfoundation. And then on top of that, as we do, having the aggregate and the actual foundation for the runway. And then most of the landside facilities, as a result of them, are actually being done in a cut area. So we're actually digging down and blasting through bedrock. So this is on solid rock, where the terminal and the other facilities of the landside are being built.
As the project progresses, over 150 Dominicans are currently employed in the construction phase. Local contractors are also engaged in various construction phases, such as the building of offices and housing developments for displaced residents from the Wesley area. This project focuses on increasing the island's tourism capacity and provides significant employment and skills development opportunities for the local population. The international airport is expected to revolutionize air travel to Dominica, supporting the island's long-term development goals and positioning it as a leading destination for sustainable tourism in the region. By improving connectivity and expanding the tourism sector, the airport will not only boost economic growth, but also provide a significant increase in employment and local business opportunities.
So I own Loomis Farms in Marigat. It is a family-owned farm that was started by my dad some 40 years ago. And And what I've done is I've taken it over since my return to Dominica. On our farm, we do poultry mostly, but we also do crops. We have many different items: fish, we have goats, pigs. But the main item on our farm is poultry. So we do both eggs and meat birds. Well, in my humble opinion, the CBI is an excellent program for Dominica and for the betterment of Dominica. Speaking from my business standpoint, I have certainly felt the impact of the CBI program on my small business, because you would no doubt be aware that there are many projects ongoing with the CBI program in Dominica. One such program or one such project is the flagship international airport. And one of my main customers would be the Chinese workers at the international airport, and some of the engineers and other contractors. They patronize us heavily for eggs and other items. So certainly directly, as well as I have seen the benefit, but there are many indirect benefits as well, and benefits that we have yet to realize. Upon completion, I am very sure that small businesses such as mine will thrive a lot in Dominica. When the international airport is complete, steel rail rivals would be boosted because of the many hotels that are coming on stream soon. We anticipate that we will be able to benefit greatly from that and have a lot of revenue from those hotels. From the guests who come and stay there, of course, they will need eggs, they will need fresh chicken, fresh local produce, and so we look forward for those benefits and look forward to providing those benefits to our guests.
Dominica's tourism sector is poised for significant growth thanks to a number of exciting new developments. The Honorable Minister of Tourism, Denise Charles Pemberton, has been at the forefront of efforts to promote the island as a premier destination for travelers. The island is also experiencing a hotel boom, with new properties set to open in the coming years. These new hotels will provide visitors with a range of accommodation options and help to meet the growing demand for tourism infrastructure. The Citizenship by Investment Program has also played a key role in attracting new investment to the island's tourism sector. The program offers a unique opportunity for investors to obtain citizenship in exchange for a contribution to the country's development. As Minister of Tourism, Denise Charles Pemberton has been working tirelessly to promote Dominica's tourism sector and showcase the island's natural beauty and rich culture.
The re-engineered Citizen by Investment Program has been instrumental for the advancement of the tourism sector and key for us undertaking critical social projects as a government. When you reflect on the tourism industry, where it was 15 years ago to today, you can see how instrumental CBI was in advancing the industry. First of all, we have to look at the infrastructure. A key aspect in development is your road structure, your road infrastructure, because that entices investors to come to your country. So one of the critical things we did using the CBI funds was improve our road structure to the point that everywhere in Dominica, you clearly have a highway. And Dominica has the best infrastructure, and I say that with no apology, in our region. Now, we had about 7 hotels under construction. So we moved from having one main hotel, which is Fortune Hotel, to 7 hotels under construction. Tranquility, Anishi, Ocean Edge, Sanctuary, and Timbos. 5. So we have 2 open. Intercontinental Cabrit Spa and Resort and Jungle Bay Resort in the Soufriere constituency. And that has been transformative. So in order to grow in the tourism sector, you need hotel rooms. Right now, Dominica has about 747 rooms. Any serious country in tourism, you need a minimum of 2,500 rooms. But because we have 5 other hotels under construction, we are hoping that by 2027, when the international airport opens, that we will have about 1,200 rooms. So you have the investment in the hotel, in the accommodation sector by building new resorts, and then access. Critical for advancing the tourism industry is access to our destination. And we have made a number of improvements and advancement in improving access to our country. One, the development or the construction of the international airport, which is going to be the ultimate game changer for allowing all major airlines to come to Dominica from destinations all over the world. And what I mean is that, yes, we are grateful that we have non-stop service from the US market, but we want flights from Canada, from UK, from France, Dubai, China, directly into Dominica. So the international airport is going to do that for us. But that will be in 2027 when it opens. But see what we have done using funds under the Citizen by Investment Program. We were able to extend the Douglas Charles runway and groove the runway. And just by that critical investment of over $25 million, we have seen another major US airline come to Dominica, United Airlines. And what does that mean for our country? More people in the country, as the Prime Minister always says, means that more people will be consuming goods and services, means more money will be circulating in our economy. And I can tell you, if you talk to any person in the accommodation sector, a taxi operator and vendor, they will tell you they are making money. Last season was great, but I am waiting for the results of this season. And I believe you that it will be one of our best on record in the history of our country. And so that's all because of the creativity and the genius of our Prime Minister in the redevelopment of the CBI program, which has definitely made us see significant growth in the tourism sector. And we're not just stopping here. Apart from the construction of the international airport, we're going to build a cruise terminal so we can receive some mega vessels into Dominica. Currently, we are only able to accommodate about 2 medium-sized vessels at a time and probably a small one in Portsmouth. But once we build that cruise terminal, we'll be able to accommodate 5 ships, 2 mega vessels and 3 medium-sized. So that will mean approximately, let's say, about 10 to 12,000 people potentially disembarking our island at the same time, going to visit our natural attractions. And another key investment we made to make Dominica more attractive is the construction of the cable car to the second largest boiling lake in the world. I mean, the largest boiling lake is in New Zealand, which is far away. So in the Western Hemisphere, this is the only boiling lake. And so this has created such a thrill in the market, and it has created a media frenzy. People are excited to visit Dominica, to come to see the cable car, to go and visit the boiling lake. And I can tell you, when this project is completed in December 2025, it's going to ensure that more visitors come to our island. And that is why we have set our target very high. We anticipate that we'll get about 1 million cruise visitors by 2030 because of the investments we are making utilizing the CBI program.
With its stunning landscapes, a warm hospitality, and a growing economy, Dominica is an attractive destination for tourists and investors alike. Dominica's Citizenship by Investment Program has been instrumental in transforming the island's infrastructure.
Besides helping us with the tourism product. And another part of the tourism product is in hotels. So yes, we have the housing going on in my constituency, funded by CBI. Yes, we have the longest cable car in the world in my constituency, being funded by the CBI. And also we have the hotels. So presently now we have the Sanctuary Rainforest Eco Resort and Spa, which is 72 rooms being built in my constituency again. And all of this is financed under the CBI program. Apart from that, other projects like our cruise village that we getting into, and that will be CBI funded as well. our marina, which we started also. This is also CBI funded as well. So there are a number of projects in our national development agenda that are funded by the CBI, and that means so much to us. And we just have to protect our CBI program so that we can continue our development.
But the CBI is the best for Dominica. So I would just ask to let us keep it so. But I know a lot of countries asking how will you do it, and it's being done because of the grace of God. And whatever God gives you, you have to take care of it. And I say, let us be together and just to protect the CBI, because God is at work. And even man say whatever they like to say because they want to make themselves feel good. But let me tell you something, the CBI is the best that ever entered into Dominica. And we want to keep it so.
Dominica's Citizenship by Investment Program has been instrumental in transforming the island's infrastructure, and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit's vision has been pivotal in driving this growth. The CBI program has been a game changer for Dominica's economy, attracting foreign investment, creating jobs, and stimulating economic growth. Here you have it, exploring the Citizenship by Investment Program, a small island nation punching above its weight.
Bless us whilst we on this journey. Captain, it is Crunchy again. Captain, coming from a sabbatical with this sweet refrain. Captain, to all them rumors, please spare deaf ear. Captain, and all them misconceptions that's floating over there. Ooh, I have always been an ardent passenger, and most certainly your humble messenger. I've been sailing on this red ship, advocating in songs the message of labor. Ooh, some disgruntled crew members telling Scrunty to jump over, but I'm afraid of them sharks in this deep blue water. Captain, you have weathered the storm, so far nothing has went wrong. Your compass is locked in the right direction. That is why, Captain, I ain't jumping ship. No way, I keep on sailing on this labor ship. I want to like some in-transit passengers. Overnight, come on it and drink, and next day disappear. No, I'm not jumping ship. No way, I keep on sailing on the labor ship. I want to as a crew member, one whom you consider the father. Just like Barabbas overnight became a traitor. Captain, no, I'm not jumping ship. No way, I keep on sailing on this red hot ship. Captain, because of your previous success, or trust in you we invest. I'm